Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Show to V with Mike G, the show of life, the show of Germany, the show of Cleveland, Ohio, Pit Bulls. Today's guest is Dennis Gobis, the other half of the handsome duo that owns the Roosevelt Room here in Austin, Texas. This week is Roosevelt Room week at Show to V, and Dennis and I go way back. I first met him at Drinkwell. He hadn't been in Austin all that long, but we have learned a lot together. And even though I cut it from the interview, there's an amazing story of which we're walking through the streets of Oaxaca. We both are imbibed with Mezcal. As you've heard in previous episodes, the walkways in Oaxaca, those cobblestones, can be a bit treacherous. But Dennis sees a dog on a roof. He takes offense to the dog barking at him, and then proceeds to walk into a rebar gate and cracks his sternum. Kind of funny, kind of not. It's hard to say. He didn't even realize till we left. But I think you'll find this is a very revealing story about Dennis. He's been through a lot of different things, been in a lot of different industries, and it's been an amazing journey that led him here to Austin, Texas in the hospitality industry. But let me not interfere any further. I hope you guys enjoy this interview with Dennis Gobis. It was a little eye awakening. I had a really stressful year last year. I mean, work aside, my mother was
She was sick, yeah.
Yeah, she got very ill.
She's better now, though, right?
She's doing better. She's on medication. She's healing. She had a cardiac arrest.
Yeah.
Lost a kidney, and her lungs were full of fluid all
at the same time?
At once.
When did
she actually died in the hospital, and they brought her back. It was in January of last year.
No shit. Yeah. And she had just visited, was it just before January?
December,
yeah. Right? Yeah, she was in town.
Yeah, she was, I could tell something was off when she was in town, and so that hit me hard. I mean...
What causes that kind of thing? Was it something genetic? Was it just lifestyle? Was she bearing the burden of the world on her shoulders?
When we moved to the States, my father bailed, and she's essentially raised my sister and I with no education in a new country with no friends, and I mean, she didn't lead the easiest life.
Sure.
Imagine years and years and years of stress, and then she got injured at work a number of years back. She has horrible nerve damage in her leg. And
was it caused from the injury or before that?
Caused from the injury. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Nerve damage in her leg, and the American way is just to
keep going on, right?
No, pump them full of pills.
Oh, yeah.
So
the other American way.
Right.
Americans don't keep going; they just take pills. That's right.
They just take pills. Yeah, exactly.
And so that is kind of. So like drinking a bottle of whiskey to deal with schizophrenia, right? It's the same kind of process where it doesn't actually solve the problem.
Exactly. Yeah, it just actually causes more problems.
Right.
Like completely destroys your kidney function.
Jesus.
Yeah. So I mean,
do you know what she was taking?
Over the course of 5 years, the pain got more and more intense.
Yeah.
I mean, she was to the point where she was on daily scripts for OxyContin.
Jesus Christ. Really?
Like 5 a day.
5 OxyContin a day?
That's what the doctor
And he was fine with that? He had no problem with just giving her
It was, it was to the point where growing up, my sister and I, when I was about 18 and she was 14, we would find my mother's scripts and dump them down the toilet because we knew
so much.
We knew how bad it was.
Yeah.
So
do you think that, and we don't necessarily have to go down this path, but that she had that was the best way for her to cope with stuff, is taking pills?
I don't think it was anything because she didn't like the way that it made
her feel.
Right.
But
She wanted the pain to go away,
She was in great pain. And they gave her 2 options. Take these pills or fuse your bones so she can never bend her ankle again.
Jesus.
When there was another way, but the insurance wouldn't cover it.
Right,
So
right.
the American medical system.
Yeah.
Which I'm part of again now. I called a few weeks ago, but I got the paperwork yesterday
Oh, yeah.
in the mail. So I think I have an insurance card. I don't know what to do with it.
So I can finally punch you vigorously, and you'll get coverage if I somehow break something.
I probably wouldn't go in.
You just walk into work like, Dennis, what the fuck happened to you? Like, some guy. You should see him. It's good. It gives her some good stories.
It's not uncommon for me to walk into work with some kind of bruise.
All those pit bulls, man. They're
Yeah.
so big. They're so massive. They can just in loving you, they hurt you.
Exactly.
Maybe that's a symbol. Maybe that's you're in Justin's relationship. Just in loving each other, it just hurts to love each other.
I don't know what that means.
I don't either. But your mom's doing well, or rather doing better.
Yeah. So
where she live?
She's in Cleveland, Ohio.
Cleveland, right? But she visited. When did
Hellhole.
did all this stuff happen in Cleveland though? When she was feeling bad and had.
It was in January, and then that happened about January. I want to say, let's say call it the Ides of January.
Sure,
January
sure.
15th.
So I don't know what that means, but it sounds really pleasant.
I think that was in a
The Ides of March.
A rap song somewhere.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a rap song.
Saint
right?
Ides.
Oh
of
yes.
March. Yeah.
Speaking of Cleveland, Ohio.
There you go.
No, yeah, that was middle of January, and then the 23rd, Justin and I closed on the business.
Mm-hmm.
And so I never really had time to emotionally deal with that because I
Right.
had to shut my emotions off and
Just keep moving forward.
because I'm not sure if you and Justin talked about it, but it's going to make a really great memoir. By the time we bought the business and got in there and opened for business the first day,
Yeah.
we had less than $1,000 in our bank account. So it was one of those situations where we're going to
You put it all in.
yeah, we put everything we had in, and if we didn't open that day, we were in trouble. So
Yeah.
I didn't really have time to deal with any emotions, and
Just move forward. Keep putting your head down and do it, right?
I think my German Irish way is
When's the last time you were like really ecstatic about something?
I don't know.
It's all right.
That's it.
I wonder because I wonder. It's like I've been I'm sad. I can recall the last time I was being sad.
Yeah.
I can recall the last time I was excited about something. That's true. But ecstatic, over the moon, the top about something.
I don't even know what that means.
Shit. What? Maybe Hateful Eight, new Tarantino movie. That was like one of the things that made me really excited.
Really?
Yeah.
Was it that good?
It was really good.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. So, but you and I don't know why it's been. We won't dwell on it too much, but I don't know why it's been such a wonderful, itchy, scratchy moment for us to go back and forth and try to get you to fucking sit in here and talk with me. Why do you think it might be?
Honestly,
Yeah, please.
well, a few reasons.
Yeah.
I'm really, really busy.
Sure.
Literally, it's hard for me to leave the bar
I
because
understand.
when I'm not there, there's something that can be done. And
Right.
I see what happens when owners are not there.
Right. They start screening shitty movies on the screen, on the wall. That's
whatever.
part of it.
You never know what happens.
Who knows?
And like I said in all those text messages, I hate talking about myself. I feel like I feel,
But it's so ironic to you. Is like to think about it, right? So I'm a guy. I show up at the bar at Roosevelt Room, and I said, "Hey, I would like to order so and so drink off this massive and beautiful menu behind you," and then you're in character immediately. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you're exchanging. You're not necessarily opening up, but you are very personable with people. So what's the difference? Excuse me. What's the difference between being like personable with me in a real sense, but then not across the bar?
I don't think there's any difference. It's just these things in front of our faces.
If I put a lapel mic on you, it would be a totally different thing.
It's fine.
Yeah. So it's just the mere obstruction of a microphone in front of your face.
God knows what you're going to do with this.
What do you mean?
You're going to sell this.
So, yeah, lots of money in it. Lots of money in interviews.
Especially with me.
Myself or with Dennis Gobis.
Just your voice and
Sure.
my voice. It's a beautiful harmony.
Oh, yeah. Incredibly beautiful. Totally fucking beautiful. But let me just put it this way.
Yeah.
It's really, I feel really, really happy that you came in and that we're getting to talk. Suffice it to say, 2015 was a very trying year in a lot of different ways, financially, emotionally, probably for both of us.
Yeah.
But 16 looks kind of nice.
Yeah. It's, feels good.
Feels good.
Yeah, we took over the business and we had a very, very good first year.
Yeah.
a lot more comfortable this January than I was last January.
Absolutely.
Uh,
You're not much taller, though, it seems.
yeah, I just started buying bigger clothes.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. These,
So I'm a
these
little more
hoodies,
comfortable.
the USBG hoodies.
I'm no
Very
longer
roomy.
a Swedish medium. I'm now an American
I'm a
medium.
Norwegian small now.
Well, I think that's
They
the
seem
same
like they'd be
thing.
pretty small, wouldn't it?
I'm more like a Bavarian medium.
Bavarian.
I have a little.
Do you know where Bavaria is? Because I'm not really clear on it.
That's where I was born.
Really?
Yeah.
So that's perfect segue.
Oh no.
So I
now
know
have
of
to-
you as a German because I know that you have a German Well, yes, you've got a German passport.
Yeah.
And I've witnessed you getting some guff from customs as we went to Mexico once upon a time ago. But
Which we need to go back.
yeah, we should. And you were born in Germany proper,
Yeah, a little town called Chemnitz.
Chemnitz.
Yeah.
How long were you over there?
Till I was 12.
12. Oh, so you lived there a full 12 years. Some prepubescent action, and your sister, you said, is 4 years younger than you,
Mhm.
and she obviously lived there
Mhm.
as well. So mom's there, pop's there, all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
When did he take off?
Once we got back to the States.
Once you got back to the States?
Yeah.
So what was the opportunity that drove you guys at being 12 years old? coming to the States?
So my father was adopted
Mhm.
by a Lithuanian family, and they ended up moving for some reason. I don't know why they moved, but
Yeah.
they moved to Northern Ohio. So,
Northern Ohio, really?
Yeah, so my father wanted to move to Northern Ohio to take care of his adoptive parents.
Interesting. Were they kind of succumbing to age and everything
Yes.
at that point?
Yeah.
So the whole family goes to,
Yep.
to Ohio. What city were you guys in?
Just on the east side of Cleveland.
Okay, in Cleveland at that
Yeah,
point.
a little town called Mentor, Ohio.
We don't get the benefit going to American schools to learn other languages.
Mhm.
And if we do, we're just touch and go with it. We don't really truly have any kind of proficiency.
Yeah.
So did you have some sense of the English language then?
No, I spoke very poor English.
At
the
12?
first, the first few years I was in the States, I
Mhm.
had a very rough time in school.
And you landed 12 years old is what, sixth grade?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was kind of, I guess, a real jolt of culture going from like Germany. So what
Yeah.
was the main difference? I mean, States, we don't have a real good, especially.
I mean, I come from a very small town.
Yeah.
It's one street.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah, it's one street. It's grown now.
Yeah.
It's gotten much bigger.
Going to Cleveland, which is Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
It's a shithole.
Is it?
Okay, I'm sorry.
No,
No, it's
it's-
okay.
It's fine.
It's coming back. It's coming back around.
No, sure. You don't have to.
I think
This isn't a sandwich. I've learned about this thing called the compliment sandwich, right?
Oh, yeah.
Where it's
Well,
like, so
that's a real thing.
It is a fucking real
I've
thing.
used it on you before.
You have not used it on me. I'm impervious to compliment. What the fuck are you talking about?
It worked.
There's no. Are you sure?
You took me to Oaxaca.
Damn it! Fucking work. Case in point. But no. So it's okay. I mean, I can't imagine Cleveland at this point because this is when you're 12. So this is the 90s,
Yeah.
right? It can't be that great. It's
No,
not
it's
that
not
great
great.
now.
I mean, Cleveland it's coming back now.
Sure.
I think
taken a
I
while.
weathered the rough years.
Endured it.
I mean, that's one thing that irks me about being in a city that's alive and thriving
Yeah.
and people complaining about it. I want
Oh, dude, no
people
kidding.
to do like a 6-month stay in Detroit or Cleveland. So
Billings, Montana. Fucking go, dude.
Yeah, exactly. You're sick of buildings going up. Go to a city where buildings are coming down just as quickly.
Yeah.
And there's no one there. It's not that fun.
It's not that good.
Yeah.
So what kind of stuff were you into? Like how did you adapt? Did you try to make friends? Did you try to
Yeah, I was I've always played music.
Yeah.
So
You're a drummer, right?
I'm a drummer.
Yeah. That
Something.
explains so much about how your mind works actually. No
Yeah.
drummer jokes there. It really does.
All right. I mean, first few years were pretty mellow, and then made a good friend that was also a guitarist, and that was pretty much it. I just had
You guys totally hooked.
one good friend. We had a number of different bands together, and
Yeah.
the other friends I made that came and went were through music,
same.
some sort of affiliation with the music scene.
Yeah.
So
Was there a music scene in Cleveland at that point? Cause tell me, frame. What kind of year are we talking? Like,
we started playing out when I was 16, so
Okay.
that's 2000.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah, I think
That
it's
sounds
different
weird,
then.
doesn't it?
It does sound weird.
It's weird.
It's not as weird.
It's 16 years ago.
That's actually quite a while.
Yeah, we started playing out. So though I play different styles,
Right.
most of the bands I was in were punkish, garagey, to even like thrashy metal.
Of an aggressive nature.
Yeah.
Did you ever take it to the point where like you wanted that to be your living?
Yeah, we toured around a bit.
What were you guys called?
There's a number of different names, and they were hilarious.
What's the least hilarious name?
Well, we were called F5 for a long time.
F5?
F5.
Is it like...
Kind of like a tornado, like thrashy
Oh,
tornado.
the Fujita scale with
Exactly.
tornadoes. Yeah.
Yeah. And then one of the more interesting names, we were called Cranial Screwtop Method from The Man with Two Brains.
Steve Martin. Amazing movie.
Amazing band name.
It's both.
It was a handful to say,
really?
though, or a mouthful, rather.
Did everybody just abbreviate it, or did they like say the whole thing?
I don't know if anyone said our name ever. But that band, that iteration, it was essentially every time we subbed in a new lead guitarist.
Every show, just bring him in.
Well, no, every time we subbed in a new lead guitarist, like every year and a half, we'd get a new guitarist, the band name would change.
Oh, I see.
Because someone would be sour.
God. That's like an ex-girlfriend. Like, don't you mention her name.
Yeah, exactly.
That kind of shit.
And then for a while, our last name, where we actually released some records, was Nightmare Mode.
Nightmare Mode? Ooh.
From Doom.
That's fucking good.
The hardest setting.
That's a
Doom.
great setting. It's hard. Doom's already hard. Not to intellectualize it.
Yeah.
Doom is hard.
Yeah, and that was fun.
What's it? Can you frame it for me? And like, was there something that was really influential for you that maybe you were pushing forward and trying to do?
It was. I can't explain.
Because I'm just trying to find out. I'm trying to root it in something that I can understand as a very simpleton kind of guy.
I mean, so my favorite bands, all of our favorite bands, myself, our bassist forever, and our lead singer was Rancid.
Okay, yeah.
The Police.
The Police. Okay.
And an old school British punk band called the Subhumans.
The Subhumans, yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Which we played with them a number of times.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Really?
We played with a bunch of... We had a pretty good run, man.
That is not a bad run at all.
We got to play with the Misfits.
Jesus.
A couple times.
Yeah.
Where Marky Ramone was playing drums. And
yeah, amazing.
Pretty amazing doing sound check with Marky Ramone, and he was trying to show me up on drums because I had to play his kit because I couldn't set up my kit because his kit was already set up.
Right.
So he wanted to show me how fast his 4/4 was.
Okay.
And he's just going to town. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, I don't know what you want me to say.
What?
Good job.
What are you trying to prove, man?
And
like,
then his
like a thing.
Yeah, and then his hair fell off. And
did it really?
He was bald, and he was wearing a Ramones wig, which was pretty awesome.
Oh, that is kind of awesome.
And then I realized the whole thing was a scam.
A sham.
A sham or a scam.
Both?
Punk's dead.
Punk is dead. Well, fuck, now it's dead.
Yeah.
Certainly. So you guys did some regionally touring. Did you do any international touring?
We did East Coast. We didn't make it out west. Yeah, we did like...
East Coast is pretty good for that, though.
Yeah.
If that's a genre
Definitely.
I'm understanding correctly.
Yeah, there was a lot of great shows in Philly and New York and Pittsburgh.
It's good spots.
Chicago.
For sure. Man, think of the Boston scene was good during that period.
Yeah, Boston was a lot more, like, as far as the punk scene, it was a lot more of the skinhead bands, like Dropkick Murphys and stuff like that.
Yeah. Drinking and then celebrating being Irish.
And working class.
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like someone's going to punch me right now.
They're not going to... No, we're safe now. Just wait till you get out. Like, okay. Then maybe...
Your neighborhood seems like it has.
Yeah. Oh, it's incredibly violent neighborhood. Just a bunch of people waiting to pummel you when you get out.
What is this neighborhood called?
I don't know exactly. Do you have a good idea of what it might be called?
I don't know. I was trying to make a name for it, but...
You called it fucking Oklahoma, you son of a bitch.
Pretty much is Oklahoma.
It is not Oklahoma. Okay. Doesn't take long to get here. I'll tell you what. Being nestled up north, having a large house and not having to pay too much for it, and it being newer than anything in Central Austin, there's some perks to that.
Yeah, we have a
I love your house, but
yeah, we have a nice property. We lucked out.
Yeah,
but the house is tiny.
It's really tiny. But that, I mean, you got a good amount of space for other stuff too.
Yeah.
So if you
this year we'll probably tear it down and build another one.
The whole house?
Yeah, we're gonna build 2 houses on that lot.
No kidding. Rent them out or just
live in one, rent out the other?
Nice. The dogs get the other one.
The dogs get the other one because now we have another one.
How many dogs do you have now?
4 dogs.
Jesus. How many are full grown? 3?
3.
And then one is kind of a small. I saw some pictures.
Well, the small one is full grown.
Okay.
But we just started fostering another blue pit bull.
Oh, really?
She's about like 5 months old.
What was it? Your dogs are adorable, man. They're really nice.
They're pretty good.
Is there something that drew you to that particular breed, or?
I grew up with German Shepherds and Rottweilers.
Yeah.
If it was up to me, I would have Rottweilers.
Yeah.
They're awesome dogs. In Austin, I mean, Stacy does a lot of volunteering at
Right.
AAC, and I go up there with her a lot. And
It's inevitable.
actually
That's-
not that much. I've gone up there with her, and
Because that becomes one of those conversations like, oh, we should take this one home and foster it.
90% of the dogs in the shelter are pit bull
Yeah.
something
Sure, Terry.
mixes. And it's just, civic responsibility to give a dog a home rather than get a Rottweiler from a breeder.
Right. No, I totally agree. Kichi downstairs, like she was an adopted dog, and she was part of a rescue and stuff, and I feel very lucky to have had her. But you're certainly a dog guy.
I've always been a dog guy.
Yeah.
I hate cats.
Cats I like, but they're not as good as dogs.
Yeah.
And maybe that polarizes everybody listening. I'll be naive and think that it doesn't, but maybe it does. But dogs are they're
Probably lost a couple friends.
Sure, that's fine. I can deal with it. My mom, she's an equal opportunity adopter though. She's got plenty of cats and plenty of dogs. I don't think she'll be too mad. Dude, what do you think? You think she'll be upset?
I don't know.
I don't either.
Never met your mother. Just give her a compliment sandwich.
Yeah,
and
just the compliment sandwich. Let's work that. No, I'm just kidding. So you doing music and all that, but you wrapped up high school, I presume.
Yep. Did high school. Didn't go to school right away. Didn't go to college right away. Did a little bit. It was a very odd dichotomy. I was
when you were in Cleveland.
Yeah, I was doing music.
Yeah.
Obviously not making any money. Punk bands don't get paid.
But having a good time, I imagine.
Too good of a time.
Sure.
And then I would get back home and right out of, I graduated early in like January, and in February I took like an expedited real estate course. And
oh, that's right.
So got my real estate license 6 weeks out of high school, and started practicing real estate. Kind of built a nice little niche market. I was doing distressed properties.
What does that mean exactly?
Just loss mitigation for foreclosures. Essentially,
Drama-rama properties, where there's some kind of drama in the background.
Yeah, well, I mean, we had a really good setup until the market crashed. I would go in and find these families, as they got served for foreclosure.
Yeah.
Before it actually went to auction, I would do a closed listing on it. I would sell it to one of my investors.
Yeah.
And we would short sell the property from the bank.
Got it. Okay.
Then we would do a lease to own back to the family, so that if they had children, they could stay in the same house, stay in the same schools.
Oh, good.
And it gave the family like 2 years to rebuild their credit. And the investor would make, depending on the margins, a good amount of money, and the family would
got to stay in the same spot.
Stay in the same spot. They wouldn't have a foreclosure on their record because we saved it before foreclosure. And then, of course, like anything, that ended because of greedy investors. Me being the person with the rapport with the family, when they weren't paying, I was the guy that had to go and inform
Play
them.
hardball and stuff?
Yeah. Well, I wasn't like a mob debt collector.
The German mob.
I don't know how intimidating I am coming to the door. 5'7".
No, because you were fighting for the families. It sounds like you can't be.
I was trying, and that's what ultimately I put my license in escrow. Stopped doing it. I didn't really, This was 18, 19, and 21. Or 18, 19, 20, and 21. 21's when I put it back in escrow. Traditional real estate transactions or conventional, being the biggest investment of someone's life.
Right.
Not a lot of people trusted a $500,000 house with a 20-year-old. Yeah. So once I decided not to work with the distressed properties anymore, I kind of just hung up the hat.
What'd you transition to?
My family owned a construction company.
Yeah.
So
at this point, you're let's say 21, 22, something like that.
21.
Is it? Had your dad jetted at this point?
Oh, he's long gone.
So you guys arrived when you were 12.
Yeah.
How soon was he just out of
probably like a year.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah, 13.
Yeah.
14. He was not around very much.
You guys still talk at all?
No.
Was it an acrimonious departure, so to speak?
Oh, it was an unpleasant departure. It was whatever. I haven't seen him since I was 18.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So I feel. I know how you feel.
Yeah.
Then I've never met my father, and
yeah.
You give time for that negative, or rather the maybe realistic perspective to build. It's like, well, what's the point? Reconnecting and stuff.
I really have no desire.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we got here, and then right about when I was 18, when I graduated high school, is when my mother hurt her leg.
Oh, that far back? Okay.
Yeah, so she couldn't work for about a year.
No kidding. And you were still living at home, I guess, at that point. Well, you were 18.
Well, at 18, I bought my first house, and with the money I made from real estate.
Yeah.
And I ended up getting out of that house and moving back with my mother and supporting the family.
Yeah.
And I lived there till I was 21, and then I moved back out.
Okay. So you were doing real estate that whole time?
Yeah, and helping pay the bills.
Yeah. It's nice. It's a great thing of you to do.
I mean, what else? We didn't have a lot of family here, so
yeah.
I don't know what else.
But you felt like relatively driven to lead the family as the. I mean, that's something that's kind of missing with the eldest boys now, right?
Yeah.
It's like step up to the plate and take care of the family if something happens.
I don't really see any other choice.
I know, and that's what makes it different.
I mean, if you take the other route, it says something about character.
No, I absolutely agree. But that's sometimes, no, not sometimes. It's a different mindset, and it comes from a different generation. And a lot of kids are just like, teach their. It's all about me, and then they can fend for themselves, So it does really speak volumes about you. So whether or not you want to take credit for that, whatever, it doesn't even matter to me, frankly. But the real estate thing doesn't really fare. It's not that it didn't fare well, but it didn't take too well for you. And so what did you do?
No, it went really well.
Sure, financially, but then at some point, someone's like, second thoughts, kind of buys remorse on you because you're so young, right?
Yeah, I was not okay with what was happening to those families. So I got out of there. It's a crazy story because my father was adopted by a Lithuanian family.
Yeah.
Moved to Germany, and then his Lithuanian family moved back to the States, to Ohio, and then we moved back. And before my father departed, funny story, my father was in a local pub, and someone came up to him and said, "Joe," and tapped him on the back. My father's name is Pete. And,
oh, shit.
And the guy was like astonished that it wasn't Joe, this guy Joe. And he was so astonished that he called this guy Joe, and that guy Joe came to the bar, and they looked at each other, and they looked identical.
Holy shit, are you kidding me?
My father has black hair, and this is my Uncle Joe. My Uncle Joe...
No kidding!
Yeah, my Uncle Joe has blonde hair, and my Uncle Joe looked at my dad, and they obviously knew that they were... I mean,
just instantly
all the males and all the females in my family look almost the same.
Wow.
We're kind of like little German-Irish clones.
Sure.
Stormtroopers. But... So then my uncle called my grandfather, also his name is Joe, and my grandfather showed up at the bar unwillingly. He had quit drinking.
Oh, I see.
Many moons ago. And he just broke down in tears because he knew that was his eldest son that my biological grandmother had put up for adoption.
No shit.
Yeah. And it just so happened that when we moved from Germany, we moved 3 miles down the road from my father's biological family.
No kidding.
Yeah, so
that's insane.
Yeah, so
for some personal clarification, so your grandma's the one that Pete was your father, but Joe was
my
older?
uncle. He's a younger brother.
My
father is the eldest.
Oh, the eldest. Okay.
Yeah, so it was the first child, and my grandfather and my grandmother at that time in their life couldn't have they felt they couldn't support a child.
Right.
So
sure, I understand.
Yeah,
but they put him up for adoption.
Yep.
And then
he moved to Germany.
And then from Lithuania?
No. From the States. Yeah.
So from the States back to Germany?
And then back to the States.
Oh my god.
It's very confusing.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And so but also his Joe was also put up for adoption. No. So
my father was the only child put up for adoption.
Oh my god. That's crazy.
So then we found this biological family 3 miles down the road. I had a grandfather. I got to actually learn about my grandmother at that point was on her. She was very, very ill, and she was living down in Fort Lauderdale. This is my 100% Irish grandmother.
Right.
I actually never met her. She passed right about the time we met my biological grandfather.
Wow.
But yeah, built a relationship. So after real estate, this all comes full circle because after real estate, my grandfather has a construction company.
Oh.
In
Ohio.
In Northeast Ohio, and I join on, just kind of doing a little bit of everything, selling jobs, maintaining job sites, learning everything, trying to be a sponge, just because I thought maybe someday I could be handy.
Yeah, when's that going to happen, you think?
I just built the entire bar.
I know. And you did a lot of work on your house, too, from what I understand. Building a fence, if I recall, when I first met you, were building a fence.
Oh, yeah, that fence is...
it's a pretty good fence.
It's nice. I should have treated it, but I'm...
Well, it's still nice.
I ran out of time.
And you always do.
And energy. Yeah, so did the construction thing for a while, and then kind of got half back into real estate and kind of put the two together, worked kind of flipped a couple houses, bought them, fixed them up myself, and sold them off.
You build an amazing toolkit for yourself.
Yeah.
Right? So you're like, you know the contractual side of it, and then you go and you start learning the construction side of it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not a bad thing to learn, both sides,
That's kind of my...
That's how you take America by storm.
Well, no, I think that's just kind of my end game. Real estate is hospitality, and the bar industry is a passion of mine.
Yeah.
Just as much as real estate. Real estate used the right way, you can make such a difference in how a community operates and how.
I'm glad you look at it like that. Because you heard the movie The Big Short.
Yeah, I know. I'm supposed to go. She'd told me I had. I think.
Yeah.
Heard it's great.
Change your perspective on it. It makes it refreshing to hear that you're fighting for the families instead of someone trying to mask the dog shit, as they say in The Big Short, the dog shit mortgages that are part of.
That was a big thing. I mean, right when I left real estate, the firm I was working for, my broker was indicted. He's in prison.
Oh shit! Really?
Yeah, I didn't know.
What fraud?
He was part of that whole mortgage ring in the Northeast. There was a guy up in Rochester, New York, and a couple guys in New York City, and a couple guys in Cleveland and Chicago. They all got. We were dealing with, like I said, distressed properties. We had the exclusive rights to FHA properties, so all FHA loans that were debunked. Yeah, we decided what to do with those.
No kidding.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
A couple guys in the office were fighting the good fight, and a couple guys in the office were
just trying to make money hand over fist.
And they did.
Yeah.
But
Jesus.
But money's no good when you're in prison.
No, and money's no good, period, if you're not doing the right things with that.
Exactly.
So what else, I mean, and I know you got tied up or you got involved with the restaurant group out there.
Yeah, it was actually right about that time, So throughout all this, I guess we got to bring it back. Ever since I got to the States and my grandfather, I met my grandfather. Mm-hmm. He introduced me to my very first employer, who was an Italian guy, super Italian guy. And my grandfather wasn't Italian, but his father was a cabinet maker and had a job in Sicily. So my grandfather grew up in Sicily. So he's like a German guy, German, French, I don't know what. He's like mostly German.
Yeah.
But he grew up in Sicily, so he thought he was Italian.
Of course.
So he never made me spatzel. He made me marinara.
Right. Yeah. You ever miss out on that? You ever think, God damn it, I just want this spatzel.
My mom fulfilled that.
Okay,
need.
good.
Yeah.
Good.
So
he introduced
my first
you to some.
This Italian probably, I imagine he was in a mob.
You think so?
Of some sort. Yeah. And my first job was in the kitchen there.
What were you doing in the kitchen?
I mean, I was 14 and a half, so obviously the dish pit.
Sure.
You got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
With the line cooks that throw the hot pan and then say hot 3 seconds later.
Mm-hmm. After you touch it.
After you touch it.
Yeah.
And then I moved up to the line. So there was this underlying thing.
So it's going parallel course.
Yeah.
As you're doing all this other kind of like academic stuff.
Yeah. Throughout going to real estate school, even when I was doing real estate, I still maintained a job as a barback. And then when the whole market crashed, what was it, 2007?
7 or 8, yeah.
I mean, at that point, I was 23.
Yeah.
I'd been bartending like off and on, but not very seriously the first 2 years.
Right.
I was able to. And then once the market crashed, my mortgage broker actually was like, I'm getting really serious about bartending, and I'm making more money than I was selling mortgages. So I joined on with this group and Cleveland Restaurant Group.
What was the first gig you had with them?
It was a spot called Steakhouse, craft beer spot.
Right.
30 drafts, and we had like a 24-ounce, 45-day dry-aged ribeye.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was a nice spot. It was a very weird spot. It was, $50 cuts of meat, and then at 9 o'clock for some reason, because we were in a small town,
sure.
All the tables and chairs got cleared out, and it turned into a dance club.
That is so strange.
But it worked. I'd never understood how it worked, but
I wouldn't work anywhere else.
The restaurant was bringing in like $20,000 to $30,000 on a Friday night.
Really?
I'm like, I don't like that whole middle ground where you're still eating your steak and you see the DJ setting up. I never understood why you would ever come back to that place.
Yeah, like why that would be a good experience for you.
But the restaurant group was a good experience. They owned, I think, 36 restaurants, bars, breweries when I was there. And
did you ever get like tossed into a more cocktail centric role with them?
We had cocktail programs, and they were never that extensive.
No,
Cleveland wasn't really ready for that.
A lot of places weren't at that point too.
honestly, my focus there was beer.
Yeah.
We had a brewery across the street from this steakhouse. And,
Oh, cool.
I would work some really nice shifts behind the bar and make
Yeah.
enough money to survive, and then I would get up at 6 in the morning and go make beer for $8 an hour just because
You wanted to learn?
I loved it.
Yeah.
Well, I had been brewing since I was 18, home
Yeah.
brewing, and
Yeah.
and there was a big changeover at the brewery, and it kind of left one guy to he had a 15-barrel setup, and
God damn,
and
one
no
guy for that?
yeah, so
So how long did that last at that? In that particular era of your life, how long were you in Cleveland more or less doing the cocktail, or rather the food, beer stuff?
I was there for 5 years doing that.
Doing that stuff.
Yeah.
But something brought you to Austin, obviously. So I know that was your next step, and maybe some other people don't, but there had to have been something. Was it love that brought you to Austin? Was it?
Look at that setup. Just served softball style.
Cold, yes. Underhand pitch.
Underhand. Well, yes, it was. I chased a girl, and
Yeah.
it worked out very well.
Was Stacy here first?
Yeah,
Like, she was,
So
right?
Stacy and I, Stacy doesn't remember, but we met 7 years before we actually
Oh, no kidding.
started.
Was
But she remembers other times meeting, but
Right.
I remember distinctively 7 years before that meeting her at the local mall because that's what teenagers do.
were you getting Sbarros? I love Sbarros.
I wasn't.
I'm just kidding.
I was probably eating Taco Bell.
In the mall.
There was a Taco
Pretty
Bell.
classy.
I mean,
But you saw
Look
her.
at me.
Did she, like, did you guys have similar friends? Like, what was
yeah.
that
I mean,
like?
well, it's the east side of Cleveland. There's
That's fair. Given, in full disclosure, I have no idea how small of a town that is. Does everybody know everybody?
pretty much.
Yeah. Okay.
So
So you'd seen this girl.
yeah.
You saw her, and you kind of like, okay, well, that works for me.
Well, yeah. I mean,
More
yes.
or less. Right?
Yes. And then years
As you think about who was I dating at the time that I don't want to tell that I saw.
Well, no. I mean, it was always the case where the girls I was dating, anytime Stacy would come in the room, they'd be like, "You're gonna leave me for her," and I'm like, "Am I that obvious?" And then it was just one of those things for years and years and years. Whenever I was single, she had a boyfriend. Whenever she was single,
God, it always right.
And then it just honestly, it's weird how the world works because she had decided her father lives in Cleveland, her mother lives here. She had decided to make a big move, and yeah, she told me I had a party at my house. I think it was like a week and a half before she was leaving, and she told me that she was leaving that night, and I kind of shut down and I didn't talk to her for a few hours.
Yeah.
And then
were you upset to hear?
obviously, yeah.
Yeah.
And then as the story goes,
Yeah.
I eventually told her why I was upset, and she told me she felt the same way. And then we spent.
Do you guys both like the Cleveland Indians?
Yeah, that was the thing. Yeah,
that you bonded?
we really missed Jose Mesa. We were still pissed about the 1997 World Series Game 7.
Who the fuck are the Browns? Why is there even a team? So, but obviously
take
you
that
guys
back.
profess some kind of I'm sorry.
Emotion. Yeah, and then
profess something, and she's what was she going to come to Austin for?
just to get the hell
To get
out of
that
Cleveland.
out of-
I mean, when you're in Cleveland, you either decide you give up
Yeah.
or you try to get out. And she tried to get out.
Yeah.
So we spent every day up until the day she left.
How long was that? It's a couple weeks? Or?
No, we had like 8 days.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, and then she left. And then we did long distance. She left a few days before her birthday in February. I came down here for South by Southwest that year.
Yeah.
And then I was in a great position with my job.
So, like, there's not a lot of motivation to leave except for the fact that your heart is in two over this girl that's in Austin.
Wait, not a lot of reason to leave Cleveland?
Well, yeah. Well, no.
There's
so,
a
I mean,
ton of reasons to leave Cleveland.
Well, no. But you have a good gig, so it's like your career's going well.
Yeah.
But then your emotional and your romantic life is
Yeah.
just fucking in the pits because Stacy moved.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was a blessing and a curse to do our first 10 months long distance. Builds a lot of trust, especially in those infancy stages of a relationship. Builds a really great foundation. But I was able to take essentially 1 week out of every month and come down here. So I spent.
Oh, that's not bad then.
I spent 3 weeks in Cleveland, 1 week here.
Yeah.
That was 2011.
Okay.
Yeah, 2011. And it was also great because I'm kind of a hermit.
Are you?
I'm very reclusive. And
That's why you don't return text messages. It all makes sense now, Dennis. It all makes perfect
you
sense.
didn't realize that I'm a recluse? I think everyone knows I'm a recluse.
Recluse, yeah, maybe so. Maybe I
I get this.
I was in denial as to your.
I get this look when I
nature.
go out in public that people are like, "Oh, really? You're here?
You're still alive? Really?
Oh, okay. I just thought they kept posting Thrillist articles about you."
Well, what the fuck do you do at home? Are you sitting there writing? Or are you petting
I'm
the
not
dog?
at home. I'm at the bar. I'm reclusive in my bar.
Reclusive but that's hard because it's out in the public eye, kind of. Unless you're back to doing the books.
I'm typically behind the scenes still, man.
Yeah.
I don't bartend nearly as much as I'd like to anymore.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah. So
she's here.
she's here. I'm back in Cleveland. I spent the entire year of 2011 getting very fit. I did not drink. I did not eat red meat. I did not drink coffee for an entire year.
God, that's really against everything Germans stand for.
Yeah, it was hard. My family didn't understand me.
They don't.
No one in Cleveland really there's no one in Cleveland doing that.
Yeah. You're so ahead of the time.
Trend-setting.
Is
that what a hipster is?
Yes. See, taking it back. That's what hipsters don't eat red meat and they don't drink and they work out.
Shit, I eat some red meat.
Hipsters work out.
I still don't know what a hipster is.
Yeah, I don't know.
I thought I knew for a second.
Maybe
but
we'll have some clarity by the end of this conversation, but I'm not really sure if we will.
I hate that we're talking about that word. Anyways, no, yeah. So we did a year-long distance. I became very healthy, both physically and mentally, and it took a lot of courage. You know, I tried to leave Cleveland a number of times, moving to other spots around, and it just never worked.
Right.
Always, it's easy to go back home.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then I finally found the strength to move across the country.
Yeah.
Chase this girl and moved here with no clue what I was going to do.
No prospects.
I think I took the first 4 months I was here and just laid around. She got really sick of me really quickly. I had no job. It was just
so sick that she's still with you.
I moved into her apartment. She's
man.
She just comes home. I set my drum set up in the living room.
Oh God.
She's like, "Oh, okay. That's how it is, right?"
Oh man, it sounds horrible.
Her dog at the time still really didn't know how he felt because he thought he was her girlfriend. So
I see.
There's a lot of.
What kind of dog was it?
He was a
small or a big dog?
He was a Shar-Pei pit bull mix.
Oh, okay.
He was a really cool looking dog.
Yeah.
But yeah, now I'm here.
So you did it. You stayed there. Did you think that was the best? Was there another industry that you ever wanted to pursue, or no? I think I really do want to do hospitality stuff in Austin.
I was hooked. In this time where I was, helping the family with the construction business and working hospitality, I did go back to school. And
what were you studying?
I was pre-med.
Pre-med?
Yeah.
Jesus, really?
Yeah.
How far did you get along that path?
I have 2 credits left to get my degree.
Are you kidding me?
I'm right at the end of my degree.
Jesus Christ, really? You going to do it?
Sometime. I don't know.
Seems like the wrong time, frankly, right now, but...
Yeah. I don't know what it does for me at the moment.
Yeah,
I work for myself.
You're working for yourself.
I can
good credibility, all of that.
I don't know about good credibility.
Well, moderately okay credibility.
But yeah, I guess the piece of paper would look cool.
So what was that first gig then when you were in Austin?
Wow, where did I first start? I helped open up Easy Tiger. I was really
really?
I was really excited about Easy Tiger.
I didn't know that.
Being a German guy, being a Cicerone, I was really excited about the craft beer program there. Yeah, any new restaurant opening, it had its turbulence in its early stages. And I was not in need of money.
No, you did all right with real estate, I'm sure.
Yeah, I was not in need of money when I moved here, so...
You're taking jobs based on what you really feel like you should do.
Exactly, yeah.
Decided
against that.
At Easy Tiger?
Yeah,
I had no idea you worked over there.
And then I landed over at Pesce because of a guy named John Roach.
John Roach? What's John do? I don't know John.
John was he was the assistant manager under Dwayne.
Oh, okay.
And then he went on he's been running Dive Bar. He just stepped down. Yeah.
Cool.
But John is the epitome of great hospitality. Just watching him work the bar was inspiring. Yeah. So spent some time over there. And
how was that experience working? I've had a few people on the show that have worked with Rob before. Was it a stimulating experience, as many others have claimed?
I'm gonna
just be diplomatic about it. This is a good opportunity.
Obviously,
for you to be diplomatic.
I'm gonna be diplomatic. No, Rob is a particular man, and he has a great bar. He has some great.
Did you learn a lot? Was it a good experience for you to expand your mind?
I learned a lot from having. That was the most bottles I've ever had behind me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, at any of the restaurants or bars that I helped out with Cleveland Restaurant Group.
Right.
I mean, Ohio is a very odd kind of control state where you can't get very much.
can't get very. Oh, just in that the state kind of moderates everything, right?
Yeah, exactly. So it was an amazing learning experience.
Yeah. It seems like you hadn't yet had that. What's the word? The moment where everything comes together, where you were enlightened by cocktails specifically, because it seems like very beer centric, easy tiger with the Cicerone thing.
I think they're all the same thing, man.
Do you?
It's a balanced. It's a balanced beverage.
You're right. There is.
I mean, what's
conceptually like maybe on paper it's a matter of balancing flavors in some kind of liquid matrix, if you will.
Yeah.
But cocktails, and to me, are in no way the same thing as beer or a wine, because you're adding something to a base spirit. You could take a mezcal, compare it to a wine. I think that's fair. But cocktails, it's an additive process.
What is a base malt and then a number of different yeasts and a number of different hops?
No, I know it is like a yeasty cocktail.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just saying, a beer is. I mean, 3 parts this, 2 parts this, 1 part this. You have to do it with a certain technique, and you have to do it consistently the same way.
That's fair.
And you're delivering a product that is balanced and can be replicated, and
But it's interesting you say that, because on a production level, you're totally right. Like even in bourbon's the same way.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to when the item is delivered to somebody, that's not as clear. That message of what the mash bill was or what, like that's only on the academic kind of back end of it, where it is like a cocktail in the sense like this much poundage of wheat or whatever kind of grain, water, yeast, all that, secondary yeast, adding fermentation. So I get that, but do you kind of see where I'm coming from, where cocktails again are a little bit more additive? It's taking the vision of somebody in its full form already and then adding upon that.
And sometimes really screwing it up.
It is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a science nerd, so there was always the nerd in me that, even when I was making cocktails when they were limited, when they were Manhattans and
something like with fewer ingredients,
simple sours and such. Back in Cleveland, I mean, I was still very conscious of technique and how I was making the drink.
Yeah.
And was there
any takeaways from Pesce? I guess because I'm saying such a massive bar back there, I can't imagine there wasn't some kind of nugget of knowledge.
There were some things. I'm going to say 90% of technique that was taught or was learned there, I have since disregarded.
Gotcha.
I think, the real tipping point is when I started traveling a good amount and got to see bars around the country and got to see the passion of people in some other metropolises that are so driven on technique and consistency. I mean, we all know I can give you every recipe.
What's your favorite? What's one of your favorite places you went to that you really learned
favorite
a lot from?
Bar?
Yeah.
That's a tall...
No, it's fucking
order.
loaded as shit.
Yeah.
But you think top 5 then.
Okay. Top 5, Dead Rabbit.
Yeah. I knew you were going to say it.
Yeah. Dead Rabbit, Drink in Boston.
Drink's great.
Attaboy.
Where's Attaboy?
Attaboy's the original Milk and Honey location.
Oh, okay.
And so, around there.
Yeah.
Little Branch. And then, I'm going to say Anvil.
Yeah. Anvil. It's good.
Yeah.
Good spots. I mean, there's all the meccas of cocktail culture where lots of things happened, similar to the music scenes of the 80s and the 70s and all of that.
Yeah.
But all this stuff kind of, it bubbles up. Does it encourage you, all this extra knowledge, does it encourage you to leave Pesce because you're not getting what you need out of it from a learning
No, I got fired.
You got fired. What'd you do?
I left a fan out. I left a fan that was drying the floor out, and that day...
That was it?
That day, Rob felt like the fan shouldn't have been left out.
Jesus Christ. Where did you go? Is that when did you go to drink hole after that?
Yeah, again, I was just dipping my toe in the water in the hospital.
Well, and then trying to dry it with a fan that got you fired.
Exactly. Dipping my toe in the water here in Austin. And my first 2 encounters were mixed experiences.
Sure.
And then, Tacy Rowland would frequent Pesce, and she'd always sit in front of my well. We became friends, and she said she had an opening, and went in and met Mike and Jessica, and that was it.
There you go.
Yeah.
And I think it's fair to say, and correct me if I'm wrong, that was the best stage for you in Austin thus far, previous to Roosevelt Room, in that you had a lot of notoriety, you had a lot of people that came back to see you, including myself. You built a good reputation for yourself, and thusly, it kind of just totally cemented into the apex for many people, but being in 2014, I think, written as claimed the best bartender in Austin by the Austin Chronicle. Is that right? Was it 14?
Something like that. I don't remember.
You don't even give a shit, do you?
Okay, so all the awards and lists,
Yeah.
everyone says, I don't care about the lists.
No, yeah. Go ahead, sorry.
You do care about the list because, like we talked about earlier, people read the lists.
They do.
When they're getting off work downtown
Right.
at 5 p.m. and they're like, I'm going to go get a cocktail, they pull up Thrillist.
I want to go to the list guy.
Yeah, the list stuff.
Yeah.
But the lists, for the most part, some of them carry a lot of weight. Some of them, they don't really like
They don't sustain a business.
They don't get me excited.
That's right.
That one was, I appreciated that a lot because.
Well, I mean, in less than
that one was that was a reader's poll.
Yeah.
So
it's pretty brilliant.
That means a lot. So I mean, that wasn't an editor. That was people voting.
Sure.
Who they like the most.
Random people that saw you somewhere
At
had
Drinkwell.
talked to you. Drinkwell, most likely.
Yeah.
And they cared. They got the message that you're putting out with your drinks. That's it's somewhat flattering, I would imagine.
Yeah. I don't know if I was putting out a message with my drinks. I think I was just trying.
You do subconsciously whether you like to or not, because a drink, whether it's a song, whether it's a drink, whether it's a book, whatever, your creation and you assembling these things based on your inadequacies that are inside subconscious, all of these things that are bubbling up.
But I don't
give someone a drink. I mean, that's you.
I don't think the drink isn't the culmination. I mean, that isn't that isn't everything.
I'm not saying it's everything.
The drink is just the piece of glassware with some liquid in it. I mean,
I don't know.
I was given I think the difference was at Drinkwell. What we were doing is we had such a spectacular staff that we were giving people experiences. We were giving people. Yes, they were
beyond the glass.
They were drinking a drink. They were probably having some potato chips or whatever they were having, but they were having an evening with people they cared about in a comfortable space, and it was consistent. And I mean,
it was the whole thing, the aesthetic, sitting down in that chair, the staff, the whole entire thing.
I mean, if we couldn't make good drinks, we're in the wrong business.
You think it's just you have to be able to do that.
If you can't make a balanced drink, you shouldn't be a bartender.
Right.
Being a bartender is about tending the bar.
Yeah.
Is the area where they're sitting clean? Is the music at the right level? Is there a light bulb out?
Right.
Is there dust around the exhaust fan? Is the person behind them leaning on the back of their chair and making them uncomfortable?
Yeah.
You need to be able to feel all of that.
Yeah, you're so German.
How is that German?
Because it's so tactical. It's not strategic necessarily, or it's not creative as much. And that it's not even a critique on you, but it's like there is something about a drink that gets you real far, right? So if the drink's bad and service is good and the ambiance is good, you're still okay with it. But there's something about if the drink was amazing and the ambiance was bad, that actually does, in my opinion, resound really loudly.
I don't know. I had so with the steakhouse, right, back in Cleveland. I feel like the biggest lesson I learned there was so I did every single job in that place: host, floor manage, bar manage, everything. I served. Mm-hmm. Frequently, when these people were buying $45 cuts of meat, it would be cooked to the wrong temperature. And when you're buying a cut of meat that expensive, it's a little bit irritating when it comes out to the wrong temperature. And it wasn't frequent, but it would happen, right? And these are things that when I'm going out for a steak and the steak is bad, you would think you're having a bad night. Right. But what I learned is that those were I built the most rapport with those customers. They would come back to see me more than the people that had a great steak because I was able to
wine and dine them.
And I wasn't giving anything away.
Of course not.
It was just being an ear for them to talk to and trying to do the most to correct their evening, correct their experience.
Yeah, understood.
So I don't
soft skills, the actual hospitality skills of it.
Yeah, I don't think you live and die by what's in the glass. I mean, like I said, we should all be able to make balanced sours and Negroni derivations at this point.
It's a good point. I just love that everybody's got a different perspective on it.
The one thing is, I mean, so we all should know the recipe, right?
Sure.
And then what we're really focusing on at Roosevelt Room is 100% technique.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a very, very, very strict order of operations in building around 29 steps. Where is your hand? At what moment? Why is it there?
Right.
It's kind of spun off of the Sasha order of operations.
Right.
It kind of takes a little bit of Dead Rabbit's order of ops and a little bit of Sasha's, and then some things that we just said, you know what? we think this way is better.
Yeah.
But yeah, every single time you're going to get a drink at Roosevelt Room, every single bartender is going to grab the same bottle at the same time for a very specific reason. And it's all based on durability of the drink when it gets to the table. We want the liveliest drink when it gets to the table.
Right. So to go back for a second, so
yeah.
Because I absolutely want to talk about Roosevelt Room. I've had amazing times there. You think you guys are doing a wonderful job there aesthetically and obviously with the flavors as well. But so what, you were a bar manager or a GM for Drink Well? It doesn't, even the classification doesn't make a lot of difference, right? But in a nutshell, what happened to force you to transition on? Because that seemed like that was the gig, that was the band in which you gained the most notoriety as a player. You got the best bartender, People's Choice Award, 2014, Oscar Chronicle, all that bullshit, right? So it seems like at least up to that point, professionally, from a cocktail and a hospitality perspective, that was the apex of your career up to that point.
Yeah, that was the top. It's all downhill from here.
Well, that's no, I'm saying up to that point it was.
Yeah. No, it really just came down to I was always going to work for myself.
Yeah.
With that, I always needed to be moving forward.
Right.
And growing. And it's something that I think in our industry we sometimes forget about, is that as managers and owners, our bar staff, we can put the best bar staff together, but this is maybe a year or two of their lives, or 5 years if it's wonderful, but
right.
This is a stepping stone for them to
flash in the pan.
Yeah, for them to achieve their goals. And the really, really great restaurant groups out there work together to help those people achieve those goals and diversify what the brand does. I just came to a point where I felt that I needed to move on and just learn a little bit more. It was. I had every.
Was it a contentious kind of departure? From my understanding, it was a little bit contentious.
I never meant for it to be. The timing probably wasn't right. I was going to Bar 5 Day in New York, and the timing was poor.
Lining up with some other stuff.
Yeah. The release of a menu,
which
I felt my staff was capable of launching a menu on a Tuesday. And it
didn't work out.
Yeah, it didn't work out. There were feelings, probably.
Yeah.
Feelings have passed.
Are you guys good now?
I feel like we're good. I'm good. I wish them.
You're good. Yeah.
I'm great. I think they're good. Yeah.
I think so. I don't know.
I think we're fine. We talk.
Yeah. It's good. That's the biggest indication is that you guys still
They're crushing it. Yeah. They're going to open up a
Backbeat too.
Backbeat is going to absolutely destroy South Lamar.
It's going to kill it. Get some ramen and get drunk. I mean, there's no better combination.
Jump off the balcony. I don't know.
Into a dumpster. No, I don't know.
Into a dumpster.
Golden God, be a golden God like they are, and
Is there a swimming pool?
There could be.
What is that from?
That's from Almost Famous.
I just watched that.
That's a great movie. Yeah, it's a totally great movie.
Yeah.
Well, so let's take.
So there was the choice of growing with the company or growing on my own,
right?
And it just so happened that at that time I had to grow on my own.
I understand that. Makes total sense.
And there was another opportunity in the works that with the.
Have you mentioned it? Yeah, with Juniper, right?
Yeah. And that wasn't really solidified until I had already left.
Got it.
And then that in turn got pushed back many times.
Yeah, I heard it got delayed quite a bit.
About a year.
Yeah, quite a bit. Yeah.
So.
four quarters. So just as it were.
Yeah.
So let's take a moment then. We regale ourselves again from a wonderful trip in Oaxaca. And the bottle that you've picked out here, even though you haven't had a sip, you said in about a month, is a Tepex Date from Ray Campiero. William Scanlon III, a wonderful gentleman bringing this in from Oaxaca. He's a great dude. I think this is 2 times copper distilled. This is one of the older varietals of agave. This thing can live to 25, 27 years old. A lovely Mezcal. This is only available in California. I'm going to check the proof on it real quick.
I think this is my second favorite varietal.
One of
right
the
behind
best,
Pablo.
Oh, really? So this is 48% ABV. Why?
I like
Pablo.
That funky.
The Cupriata funk.
I like that Cupriata funk.
Man, it's
that blue cheesy.
Yeah. Have you had the Siembra Metal? That Cupriata?
Yeah.
Yeah. much different expression of it. Not as funky and cheesy.
No, not as funky as cheesy.
And you know where that cheese and funk comes from?
I bet you're going to tell me.
As a matter of fact, Dennis, I am going to. No, so if you... And Francisco Terrazas was in the other night, who's now working for Vago, and we were talking about ferments and this kind of stuff, and then we're going to diverge here in this kind of nerdy tangent for a moment. But the ferment, the longer you let... So let's say you go cook your piñas, right?
Mm-hmm.
You cook these Cupriata piñas, and you leave them out because you haven't had a chance to process them yet, because often cooking and processing doesn't happen just in procession like that. So if you leave them out because of those sugars, lots of things, lots of yeasties, like lots of little beasties, wild things gets in there, and they'll start kind of funkifying it.
Mm-hmm.
Whether that's a fungus, bacteria, I'm not exactly sure which thing it is. But at that point, your raw material starts to take on a little bit of funk with some extra extraneous bacteria that come into it. And thus you shred it up, you ferment it, those guys are introduced into the ferment. So
exciting.
With the particular one I find the funkiest, which is probably the Del Maguey, which is the funkiest of the Papilome, Papilamento, whatever. That, cheese. That's where that cheese comes from. That cheesy. Roast beef cheesiness.
Mushrooms.
Yeah, the mushrooms. But you're into that particular umami.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
then,
It's really interesting. But this is kind of contrasting, this tepestate. It's really nice and
this one's
sweet. And,
now we're on tepestate.
Sorry. No, we're just going to have to shoot from one to the other. You're just going to have to follow me.
A lot more bright, a lot more floral.
Yeah, definitely. What do you think about it, this being one of the first sips perhaps you've had in a month or so?
It doesn't disappoint.
It does not disappoint. But I could have handed you some rot gut vodka. Would that still be good?
Probably not.
Probably not.
No, it's delicious.
It's a really
all of the Ray Comparo stuff is amazing.
And this is an exceptional varietal, but also an exceptional release from them.
Yeah.
Which I'm just really, really, really upset that, in a sad way, not in a mad way, that they didn't release this one in Texas. It's really wonderful.
How'd you come about it?
Don't know.
Just showed up.
Amazon
Prime?
Amazon Prime, baby.
I saw the drone landing pad in your front yard.
Yeah, for sure. I want to make it easy to get all this stuff from the drones, whether it is a bag of Ziploc bags.
Have you heard about NASA's drone highway that they're proposing? Yeah.
What's that about?
So airspace under 400 feet in the next 10 years, they're working to have a dedicated drone highway.
No shit.
Yeah. Huh. 'Tis the future.
Well, I'm not looking forward to the future. I'm kind of stuck in my ways.
What's that mean?
That
you don't like things to fly?
Yeah, I hate flight. Flight's terrible.
Really?
Leave it to the birds. Seriously.
So we're not going to Oaxaca.
well, no, we got to hitchhike.
See, exactly. Flight is beautiful when you land in Oaxaca.
It's a necessary thing.
Flight
is a necessary thing. So coming off of the win in 2014, transitioning out of Drinkwell as the GM or the bar manager, whichever that position officially was.
Yeah.
What was that space of time between that and the Roosevelt Room?
That was me being unemployed.
Sure.
And
how about
racking up a massive amount of credit card debt.
Dude, I understand.
Yeah. That was, so I left in September.
Mm-hmm.
I left 2 weeks before I left for Bar 5 Day.
Bar 5, yeah.
Yeah. And Bar 5 was the last week of September. And then I got back. We went to Oaxaca in October then.
November.
See, can't even remember. Too much Mezcal. I don't know what I did in October. Probably laid around the house and played drums.
Yeah, I recall you mentioned laying around.
Probably played a lot of drums.
I hope so.
And then actually got to read books, which I haven't been able to do.
Books?
I take that back. After Bar 5 Day, I did not read anything for a month.
Probably waterlogged in the main.
Trying to get sensation back into my tongue after blind tasting all those spirits.
Right.
And hung out. We went to Oaxaca.
Yeah.
I was working on the Juniper project.
Right.
Kind of, it was a really awesome experience with Nick Yanis and Michael and Chris Sanders Architecture, Mark Cravata. We really got to build that place from the ground up.
Right.
That was one of the first bars that down to the quarter inch I designed that
Have
bar.
you been since it opened?
Yeah.
How do you feel about it?
It worked out. It's I built a low bar. I've always wanted to do that.
Yeah.
I feel with a low bar, it opens the bartender up a little more.
Mm.
It's a little service is sometimes easier. The way, unfortunately, I had to drop out of the project before it came to completion. So some of the low boys are in a little too far out.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it solves a lot of problems with ADA and puts
what about
you
ADHD problems?
I'd still have those. You know that.
I do know that.
Yeah.
But so how does it? So the thing that was really interesting to me, and I haven't even thought about it until kind of after now knowing that Roosevelt Room is doing well, you guys have a great cocktail program, great staff, and everything. What is it? Does it ever hit you? Does it ever feel like you're number one on the charts, and then all of a sudden you can't write a follow-up hit? Like, does that even occur to you?
I don't think I've been number one on the charts yet.
Well, you know what I mean. The city acknowledges you. You are exalted. You've given an award, and then this time goes by. I can't imagine that the expectations you maybe placed on yourself were probably pretty large.
Yeah, and I think we're well on our way to achieving them.
Yeah. Well, absolutely.
I mean, my goal was never to win bartending competitions and awards. I mean,
it was to lose them.
No. I mean, my goal is to create a restaurant group that can fund real estate development that can help build stronger communities.
Sure.
So I think purchasing my first bar with Justin and with no large investment and being majority owners of our first business, that is more rewarding than any bartending competition.
Do you think that anybody realizes how much about the people you are? You know, this is something I am just picking up on now that I never realized how much for.
Probably not because I don't talk.
You don't talk, but you do talk, right?
I talk about other people.
Good.
It's better to be a good listener. No one wants to hear my story.
Why is that? Why do you think?
Because the story isn't done yet.
The story's never done, and I can't talk to you if you're dead when the story is in fact done.
You can read about it when I'm.
But who's capturing that? This is a great fucking point. So, if we don't talk about this now, and for God forbid something happened to either one of us, then your story goes into reference material, and no one ever really knows it except the few people that are close to you. But there are lots of people that are close to you on some proximate level, and then they don't even know this fucking story, you know? Yeah. And so I understand that it may be excruciating at times to have to talk about some of the details of this journey for yourself.
Yeah.
But you know what, man? I think there's a lot of value to it. Never underplay that. There really is. And they give, Dennis, like no one cares. People fucking care, Dennis. They do. I know they do. They want to hear it, man.
All right.
They do.
Well, I just told it. That's it. That's all I got.
You're not done yet.
Okay, what are we at? Like 45 minutes?
Yeah, we're at 4 hours now, 4.5 hours. No, but I want to tighten this up, and I want to finalize this and cement it with what is, I feel, an amazing achievement where everything has kind of come together and coalesced into this wonderful concept. So you've got 2 spots that you guys operate.
Yep.
One is the event space at the Madison on the left-hand side, and then the cocktail concept, which has great hours. You guys have been incredibly busy, at least the times I've been in there. A really extensive menu with lots of different genres is a really cool way to chronologically record the drinks and stuff at the Roosevelt Room.
Yeah.
So how has it been going since the media, more or less, has been very supportive? You talked about Eater kind of mentioning it. I did just mention it as one of the most important cocktail bars, something like that, in Austin for 2015. Like whatever, even if it's just like, you know, fucking fodder for readers or clickbait, it's still something that there's some substance to that. It's a very important concept, I think, especially in that spot.
Yeah, I mean, that's, I think, one of the biggest things that owners don't see the value in is just those small articles. I mean, it's been an absolute blessing, and you can see the results.
Yeah.
The love from the press has been, it's just.
Why you guys? Why would I don't know why, for me, right? Why? It feels like you guys are media darlings, but not in an undeserved way.
Yeah.
But why do you think that is?
I don't know. I think it's nice to see 2 bartenders put everything they have into a crazy ass idea, taking over 7,500 square feet of real estate in downtown Austin, with a real estate market that is absurd.
Sure.
No one on the investment side would ever think that we would have been successful because we'd never operated. We've managed, but we've never operated.
Right.
And to see us take it and run with it and actually be successful, I think people are I think a lot of people expected us to be around for like 4 or 5 months and never really get our footing and then go back to working at bars around town.
Right.
I think right
the
now...
The opposite seeming starting to happen, it feels like.
Yeah, I mean, it's been... The growth is amazing. Every week we're open, we're up a certain percentage. Sure. And yeah, I mean, it's been a crazy road. I feel like I'm in a dream, honestly.
Maybe.
Because we never intended to open the Roosevelt Room as a cocktail bar.
Yeah. No, that's the funny part of it is that it was still an event space, more or less.
Yeah, I mean, we never even meant to take over the Roosevelt Room side. We were going to buy the guy out from the Madison and turn the Madison into a cocktail bar. And then that was a pain of a transaction, which stretched almost a year.
Yeah.
In that year, we met with the landlord, and he's like, oh, if things don't work out with Adam and the Madison, the spot next door is open.
Sure.
Or it's available. They were just clearing up some legal disputes with the city of Boston for some unpermitted work.
Right.
So we went over there, Justin and myself, and we looked at the space, and we're like, wow, this is actually leaps and bounds nicer than the Madison.
Yeah.
And then I believe someone was in the Madison at that moment when we were touring the spot that was called Soma, that is now the Roosevelt Room. Someone was in the Madison, and they turned the sound system on. And we realized how thin the wall was in between the two spaces. Right. And we're like, okay, this is never going to work with a nightclub next to us. Yeah. The bass is just obnoxious. You can't serve a good cocktail. You can't even keep bottles on the back bar without them falling. Right. So that it became an all or nothing thing. And this was very quick. This was, let's call it December 20th to 20. It was right before Christmas when we decided, it's all or nothing. 4 weeks later, we signed the lease on the whole building.
Right.
And then we're like, okay, our intention was to open a small cocktail bar.
Yeah.
And we went from like small cocktail bar to 2 very large event spaces. So we ran them through South By's event spaces. Afterwards, the Roosevelt Room really just became our living room for a little while. We would set up over there on the banquettes and do our computer work. And then we were looking around and we were like, we can familiarize people with this block and get them accustomed to coming here for a good cocktail. Because the foot traffic on 5th Street is it's non-existent.
Yeah.
Especially on my block. No, it's us and Rebels.
Right.
Rebels really brings a certain demographic from one direction, and they come to Rebels, and they're not looking for a cocktail afterwards. No one branches off 6th Street. Fix and Wu Chow weren't there when we got there. So we were just... There's no foot traffic. So, I mean, hey, if we can... It's not costing us anything for me and Justin to hop behind the bar and make a couple Manhattans. So we kind of dipped our toe in the water, and we opened Thursday, Friday, Saturday at first from 8 to 2. Those first weekends, we weren't getting the press back then.
Yeah.
I think we had a couple articles with the Austin Business Journal, and Alex Shoemaker was with us, bless his heart. He's been with us almost since the beginning.
Yeah.
Actually, since the beginning. And we would just work these shifts that were just like hilarious. We'd make like 7 drinks, and 5 of them were for us.
Oh, shit.
But it built up. People started, one person came in one day and told a friend, and we've got to watch it go from, 10 people to, I feel like, I don't even...
Yeah, lots of people.
Too many people. too many people to the point where now we're having to open the upstairs for regular service.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm working on right now.
It's not a bad problem to have.
It's a blessing and curse again. We're getting so busy that I had a discussion with Josh Loving about this, kind of what we are looking to do with our spaces.
Yeah.
And, we can cram as many people as we possibly can to our spaces and make a good amount of money, but are we giving the experience that we want to give? And right now, we're getting to the point where without opening the upstairs, it's hard to maintain the experience that we want to give being downtown.
Gotcha.
So
how do you feel working with Justin? Because I know you guys work together at Drinkwell.
Yeah, I brought Justin on Drinkwell. I don't know if Justin told you the story of how we ended up working together.
No, I don't think he did.
Justin was coming down here.
From Boulder. You talked
to
about
Boulder.
That whole move.
Moving down here with James Lee to open. James Lee was a partner in Bitter Bar.
Right.
There. They were going to open Lee and Bitters is what it was called. I still have a T-shirt. And they would come in to drink well. It was their favorite spot. Yeah. And they essentially wanted...
I'm going to take some credit for bringing James in there that first time.
Thank you.
Good or not. But which maybe that was good if you met Justin.
It's good. Now, you're responsible for the Roosevelt Room.
No, I'm not.
I see what you did there.
That's all I want is royalties, Dennis. That's it.
You can have them. As soon as we start paying ourselves, we'll pay you a little bit.
Fair enough. I like it.
So, yeah, they were coming in to drink well. That was the vibe, the feeling, the experience that they really enjoyed, and they wanted to create that or replicate that, or I don't know what they wanted to do. Sure. I never really asked. Anyways, that relationship didn't work out. Justin sticked around. I think James went back to Boulder and bought the bitter bar outright. Just randomly, I was working on a couple app ideas with some developers, and I was really like into startups one summer. I was real hungry. I just wanted to do something. I knew I was having fun at Drinkwell, but I wanted to create something. And I sat down with Justin at a lunch, and I'm like, we're two young, semi-intelligent guys living in a blossoming city with capital at every corner. Everywhere you look, there's available capital here. Why are we working for other people?
We should be working for ourselves.
Yeah. I think I said it in different words and
seems
a
like
little more colorful.
Though, what the fuck are we doing, man?
But that was the message.
But you guys are really different, and I feel like that's a great balance.
Justin is it's an absolute blessing. I don't know if I could run a successful business without Justin, and I don't know if he could do it without me. We're definitely the yin and the yang. Yeah. And our staff can tell you that. They call me dad, and they call him mom.
When are you gonna? I'm gonna get him a wig. I would love to like a nice brunette wig.
He'd probably like that. No, but yeah, ever since that day, he looked at me, and he'll tell you if you ever talk to him.
Yeah.
After the wig comment, I don't know if he'll talk to you again. He'll tell you that really rung a bell with him, and I guess he spoke with his father.
Yeah,
he's kind of a business guru. He's really a pillar of strength when we have to make big decisions. Mm-hmm. And we decided to create a product company. We had some great ideas for some products, which are still in limbo. Started the patent process, which is a nightmare.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's really difficult.
And then we were in the middle of that. The company is called Avant-Garde. It's still alive. Mm. We're doing the taxes for it right now and showing the
you go.
Epic loss.
You get to take it off your revenue.
Exactly. Randomly, while coming up with stuff for Avant-Garde, the opportunity arose to maybe take over the space, and we put that on the back burner, and we spent a good year focusing.
Yeah, we talked about it, like when you were kind of going through that situation and the opportunities that arose about spots you could take and all that, and there's some that I won't mention that came up that would have been cool spots. So it's really nice to see you guys took this massive square footage downtown. Things are going really, really well with the Roosevelt Room. Do you think that you guys can meet a 2-year execution date for De Rigueur?
From today?
For today. 2018.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean...
And you want to do a restaurant, I don't want to put words into your mouth, but from what I understand, you want a larger restaurant concept.
Yeah.
Still a great cocktail program, another bar upstairs.
Yeah. If you've been in the Roosevelt Room, or if you just look online and look at the pictures, you can see the Roosevelt Room is one half of a large hangar-style building. Right. So the first floor is 5,900 square feet. So close, call it 6. Yeah. That will be the dining room. Yep. There will be a long 60-foot long bar on the right wall, the opposite wall that the bar is on now. Dining focused downstairs, definitely really great cocktail program, capability to create everything that they do upstairs, but the menu down there will be more limited. What we show people, a little more spirit focused, neat spirit focus. Yeah. Obviously a lot more room for bottles on a 60-foot bar than a 20-foot bar upstairs. The dining focused, complementing the flavors in the food. Right. The mezzanine will be really like our playground. That's where we will nerd out. I'm actually buying a centrifuge tomorrow to start playing with it. Yeah, I've played with one before. It's a lot of fun.
How many? Do you ever get tired having to talk about this stuff? Because how many people ask you about what the De Rigueur concepts?
Yeah, I'm kind of sick of talking about it. I bet. I feel like we really shouldn't talk about it. We should just shut the hell up and
just do it.
And just do it. Yeah, but people won't stop asking. Yeah, I just have to come to grips with that. And right now we have So here's where we're at with the Roosevelt Room. And the Madison
Yeah.
and de rigueur. We have a very successful business running right now,
Sure.
and we're getting people accustomed to coming to that part of town.
Yeah.
We have a luxury that a lot of other new restaurateurs don't
Oh,
have.
yeah.
We're cash positive, and we have no investment,
Mhm.
and there's no rush. We're not waiting on a space. We're not waiting on investment. We don't have a target open date.
Mhm.
It's just really whatever feels right to execute the absolute best concept
Right.
that we possibly can. And that's a beautiful thing. And that's why we're very comfortable in where we are.
Yeah.
In a perfect world, I would like de rigueur to be open yesterday.
Sure.
But I'm not going to rush it. I'm going to make sure it's going to be a very, very large build out.
Mhm.
We're going to align ourselves with the very best possible partners, and
I'm sure it's gonna be fucking
Yeah.
killer, man.
Yeah.
You're gonna do it. Like the thing that I gotta tell you, like I worry about with you, and it's not the business part of it. It's just like, how's your relationship doing with you working so much? Because I remember, luckily, I was single that first
Mhm.
year. I was trying to bring this distillery up to
yeah.
making it run, and that was good because then I would be the victim of it.
Mhm.
My health, my time, But how's it been with Stacy? You guys?
I think you know the answer to that.
Yeah.
Stacy is a
maybe
blessing.
you do.
She's been my rock during this
Yeah.
whole thing. I've put a lot more weight on her than I ever thought anyone would hold up for me.
Sure.
We're coming out of it, The first year's
Yeah,
done.
yeah,
The first year's done right now, and I'm finally able to, apologies in the midst of being home for 35 minutes
Right,
really
right.
don't mean anything. But in the past couple weeks, we've been able to spend meaningful time
I think
with one another.
it'll continue to grow that way
Yeah.
too. You'll be able to step away from it a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, it was the hardest year for our relationship, and
Sure.
that was our fourth year. We're
Yeah.
be together 5 years here in few weeks.
I'm sure it's gonna. I mean, you guys are really, really solid.
Yeah, but
always
yeah.
pulling through and all that.
It's the hardest thing you could do for a relationship. I can't imagine
so,
having.
too.
Well, do you think having a kid would be more stressful, or
Yeah.
having a business?
Yeah, it's the same difference. I think it's like either you can't. That's why if you do both, you're doomed. So you either have a kid, which becomes all of your aspirations bundled up into this physically
Mhm.
manifested thing, and then that's the extension where you just hand off all of your ambitions to somebody else, and then you kind of lose them for yourself. Sorry to be curt, everybody that has kids. No offense or no judgment.
Burned like 30 out of the 47 people that you've interviewed.
No, but
Jesus.
that's kind of how I feel. Or you take and you pull all of that ambition, those aspirations, and all of the talent you've developed, business acumen, all of it, and you pull it into an idea and a concept for you. It formed into the Roosevelt Room in this case. Now, who's to say it won't expand even more? But that's your kid.
Yeah.
It is. You watch it the same way. You watch it grow. You watch it fail.
Yeah.
You spend money on it. You spend money that you don't want to spend on it for stupid
yeah.
shit to repair stuff. It's just like going to get vaccines or whatever, I know. It's just money out the window. But
it's
it
so
is.
much money out the window.
I know. But it all sums up to something that is meaningful and that is important and says something. And you guys have done. I love the Roosevelt Room. I really think it's one of the best spots I've been to, man. And it speaks to you and it speaks to Justin, like your personalities, your sensibilities as people that craft cocktails. It's very creative and it's very accessible, and you've got all types of people in there, and it never once feels douchey.
Yeah, it's and it's not all Justin and I. I mean, we're there setting. We're there trying to throw that softball pitch for our staff.
Mm-hmm.
They're the rock stars that are crushing it. I mean, Roosevelt Room wouldn't be where it is without Alex or Nikki or Ashley or Alexis,
Right.
Bryce, Isaac.
Yeah.
I mean, all of them.
Yeah.
Isaac Acosta is probably, no one knows who he is.
I don't know who it is, yeah.
He's probably one of the most valuable employees in the company.
Really?
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, it's an embodiment of Justin and I, but also all those other people.
Yeah. Well, man, I thank you for finally sitting down.
Is that it?
I mean, we've been chatting.
That was
for
pretty
10 minutes
easy.
now. It's,
I thought
were you on
I thought there was
the
gonna
whole
be
time?
I thought there was gonna be like a difficult part where you're gonna be
Why?
like,
Like, what am I gonna ask you?
I don't know.
What haven't I not asked you already that could be perceived as difficult?
I don't know. Find something.
I don't
Make
wanna
it difficult.
find
This was too easy now.
It's supposed to be. It's not. I'm not trying to throw these fucking knuckleballs and pitches to throw everybody off, man. It's like I told you. You know, and the reason I feel okay speaking so frank to you is because I feel like we are friends and we do have rapport and we've
Glad you
known each other for a while, whether you feel that way or not. But I know that a lot of people, people tell me this all the time, they don't want to talk about themselves.
Yeah.
And that's fine. But talk to me at least. You know, it may be about yourself, but I mean, I'm genuinely curious about these things, about people and about you. And I think other people are as well. So just fucking anybody that comes on here, just bear with me. We're just going to sit here and chat. I don't know why everybody's so afraid. And we're all exposed at some point. We're all vulnerable at some point. But what's the point of hiding on this stuff or like kind of keeping these parts of ourselves invisible to the public? What's the point of that?
I don't know.
I don't either, man. I really don't. I know you're not like that to your customers. You were Dennis through and through. Maybe a hyped up, very, very articulate actor version of Dennis, but you're fucking Dennis across the bar. You are.
Highly caffeinated Dennis.
There you go. Whatever it takes. But it's you.
Yeah.
It is. And you're not disingenuous. You are you. So, thank you again.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me on.
And I can't wait. I want to definitely do these interviews. I'm going to do Justin and you in whatever order. You guys will get a week on the show and highlight what wonderful work you guys are doing at the Roosevelt Room.
Are you going to make him wear the wig?
Justin, watch out. You may have to wear the wig.
Also, if Justin wears the wig, is he then a hipster?
I don't know that is something we can solve here. I think it's going to have to go to the city council.
City council?
Yeah, probably that high level.
As long as I don't have to go to the permit office.
You won't.
Okay. We don't have to pull a permit for the wig?
No more permits.
Okay.
You don't need a permit to
wear
chat.
a wig?
Yeah, or to wear a wig. So thanks so
Awesome.
much for chatting with me, Dennis. Best of luck with everything, man. Well, there we go, everybody. What do you think? Dennis Gobis, we understand him from across the bar. We get that dynamic personality, but there's a lot to him. He's a solemn, German, hardworking family man, has a lot of dogs, a dedicated partner. But beyond that, let's think of it like this. He and Justin have managed to form and open an amazing cocktail experience, not just a bar in Austin, but you've got an amazing back bar, you've got an amazing menu concept. These guys are really, really doing excellent work at the Roosevelt Room in Austin, Texas. And my personal suggestion is if you get the chance to try a Jungle Bird with that massively flimsy extended straw that they so love to put inside that drink. So thanks everybody for listening to Show to V with Mike G. It's been a pleasure bringing these interviews to you, and I'll continue keeping at it. But no matter what Jungle Bird you're drinking, no matter how many passports get rejected at customs, please keep dancing.